Hello and welcome to Ask Deb About Business. I'm Gayoso, co-host. We're broadcasting via Futures Television, the home of the future on television. If you're watching this show on Futures Television, listen to it on Radio Futures, or listen to it as a podcast or as a recorded event on one of the social media platforms, you too can be part of the conversation. Just visit our YouTube channel, and that is IMCI Magazine, where we continue to chat about the topic of the day. You can also access this information on our website, and that is www.futurestelevision.com. So don't be shy. Today, our show is very special, and our topic is the upcoming VCLATINX conference. The VCLATINX conference is a free online event about entrepreneurship, and we focus on women and minorities. And I am honored to have the star of this show, Deb Dietz, as the co-chair of this conference. So without further ado, let's welcome Deb Dietz to the show. How are you doing today, Deb?
Hey, Ram. Great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much. And folks, Deb, thank you so very much. And it's really thanks to your dedication to entrepreneurship education for women business owners that we are having this conference. You are really truly inspiring. Star of a television show, executive at SMB Digital Education, educator, partner, successful businesswoman. And looking at you today, the successful person that you are, it's hard to think that you two had to start somewhere, right? And fight for your place under the sun, overcoming difficulties. Deb, what inspired you to lead this effort?
Ram, thank you so much for asking the question. Before I answer, I wanted to just welcome everyone to, I'm so delighted that you're here. Ram and I work on Ask Deb About Business, and our show typically focuses on emerging trends and challenges and opportunities that face entrepreneurs and small to mid-sized business owners. And we invite experts on the show where we discuss those topics. And those experts are wonderful in providing practical guidance, practical advice to our audience with some, really meaningful takeaways that they can implement within their own business. And so that's really the spirit of the show. Today's show is really special because we're talking specifically about VCLATINX. And the reason why VCLATINX came to be is that in the work that Ram and I do together, we're folks that pay attention to emerging trends and data points. And, you can't miss the fact that over the course of the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, with what's happened with the pandemic, that there has been a boom in entrepreneurship. And so you look at those millions of new entrepreneurs that have joined the ranks of business ownership. And, there's kind of the sobering statistic that says, a lot of these new business owners or new businesses will ultimately fail. And so when Ram and I started to dig down and look at some of the root causes for why those businesses fail, typically it's because they are unable to implement and execute on their business strategy. And then you dig down a little bit deeper and you say, their inability to execute and implement, in many cases, the root cause of that is caused by a lack of funding. They simply don't have access to capital in order to make the necessary investments to execute on their business strategy to achieve the results that they desire. And so knowing that and knowing that that these entrepreneurs are challenged by lack of funding kind of led Ram and I down this path. And we can talk about it all the time on the show, and we do, but when we looked at each other, we thought, we have to do something about this. And so we dug a little bit further And one of the reasons why, I'm so personally engaged and delighted to be able to work on VC Latinx is that, women traditionally receive disproportionately smaller funds than men do when going to raise capital. It's a fact. Women do. And then when you look down even deeper, some of the harsher realities is that other minorities, so Latinas, LGBTQ, Black, Brown, Asian communities are in the same situation. And then if you're in a double minority status, your opportunities for funding are even less. And so this is why Ram and I have gathered together to put together this arsenal and a powerhouse of subject matter experts that can help and educate entrepreneurs all over the world.
This is amazing, and you are really truly inspiring. And I really also want to take this opportunity to publicly thank SMB Digital Education, our partner in this venture. Without SMB's long track record in online, course delivery, and with its expertise, this event would not have been possible at all. So thank you so much, Deb, and thank you so much, SMB Digital Education.
We're delighted to be here. And the thing I love about the conference, Ram, and we'll get into the details in a minute and take people through the website and the registration site. But the thing I love about the conference is that there's something for everybody here. And so we've got the arsenal of subject matter experts who are speakers. And so they share the who, the what, the why, the when, and that's critically important to hear their stories and have them share their expertise with everybody who's participating. But it's the how. It's the success. The critical success factor here is your ability to implement what you're going to hear from these experts, implement and execute. And so the courses then provide that how-to step-by-step instruction. So we're really hoping everybody and our attendees are inspired by our speakers who can sit back and listen to these experts talk about these subjects that are so important across the business management framework, and then actually have access to practical how-to training and instruction. So that makes it a very powerful experience for people.
Wonderful. Well, let's get started. So, folks, first and foremost, we're gonna start by going to our website, and that is www.VCLATINX.com. So just open any browser, and what you're gonna see is when you get to our webpage, it's basically this. This is our landing page, www.VCLATINX.com. And so, Deb, what's your first impression when you land in our page?
First of all, I love the images, because we're really talking here about enabling all people to succeed, right? So this is what we're all about. It's all about entrepreneurship, and we focus on women and minorities.
Well, really, that is truly our mission. By the way, this is the countdown. Not to saying anything else, but we are a little bit, under 3 months away from the event. So, we do still have time to, bring more speakers. We're working as we speak. We're, building the list of speakers. And again, we still have some time, but Deb and I are working really hard to bring the best possible speakers we could find.
We absolutely are, Ram. And, and again, we're really blessed, and we're very grateful actually that in, the world that you live in and work in, with the media company, with Futures Television, Radio Futures, IMCI Magazine, the people that, that you have access to, the wonderful guests and experts that come on the Ask Deb show, we're putting together this arsenal of experts. Very, very excited. So I would personally like to invite everyone to mark your calendars. The event is May 23rd through the 26th. So please invest some time with us. We've got, like I said, awesome speakers, awesome access to education, and participate in the activities. We've got an exhibit hall. We have, networking roundtables. We have, so many, a job fair that if you're looking for resources. So there's a lot here over the course of 4 days.
Okay, so folks, as Deb explained, we do have a variety of activities that are going to take place together. So first and foremost, the event is split into 4 days. The first 2 days, we're going to go Portuguese and Spanish original content. So in the morning, we're going to have a full 4 hour sessions, so 25-minute sessions in 4 hour blocks of Portuguese content. And then we have an interval between noon and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's when we're going to go visit the exhibitors hall. We're going to go take a look at the round tables. We're going to participate in networking events, and we're going to check the job fair. In the afternoon, we start the Spanish speaking content. So we go from 1 o'clock into 5 in the afternoon. The next day, so the following day is the 24th of May, we repeat the same story. Morning, Portuguese content. Lunch hour, we go to the exhibitors hall. And then in the afternoon, we do Spanish. Then the next 2 days, it's all English content. So we have 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon, and in between, we have that 1 hour between noon and 1 o'clock in the afternoon, where again, we visit the exhibitors hall. We take a look at the job fair, see what kind of job postings are in there. We participate in roundtables, and there are several networking opportunities as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks, Ram. Can you take us to the About tab?
Certainly. Let's go take a look. So when you go from the drop-down menu and you hit About, and that's how I'm going to get to the About table. So I think it's important that we say a few words about our mission. We do have what we call a service statement. So we're here to serve people. One thing that I learned, from Deb is we truly are, this vision of, the servant leaders. We're here to serve people. So we are trying to accomplish a few things. So number one is a self-sustained solution. And really, we're focusing on diversity. And we are trying to help people. And we haven't gotten there yet, but the conference is around the corner. And we will do accomplish that. It's really help people put together their presentations, their pitch, their entire project, and get it ready for funding. The other important aspect of our work is we are truly focusing on education solutions for women and minorities. And then all the people who participate, the people who contribute their livelihood and their efforts, they will be paid. If you think about the layers of the onion, the best way, if you look at the image on your left, the best way to think about it is the onion. And the onion has layers. So the outer layer is the person that is absolutely ready. She is prepared to present. She knows the pitch. She has everything ready. So the only thing we do is, well, here, let's have you sit down with the angel investors and you go present. The next layer of the onion is the kind of person who needs a gentle reminder. So we say, well, where's your pitch deck? Where's your succession planning? Where's your marketing strategy? And they say, here, let me send it to you. That person has everything ready. So this person actually is the one coming to the conference. The conference is free. And they watch those amazing experts go over, and then they realize, oh, I forgot to add this, I forgot to add that. And that person is ready. The next layer of the onion is the person that says, well, I'm not ready yet. And for that, we have a series of courses or training that we're going to be delivering. They are split into 4-hour courses where we teach people, this is how you prepare your pitch deck. This is how you prepare your due diligence package. So this is how you get what you need to get done in order to prepare your presentation. And the last layer of the onion is that person that actually, even though she has done all of the above, she's an engineer. She created some product or an app or a piece of software, but she's not a presenter, not someone who presents. But thankfully enough, we are in the media. So I'm sitting in front of Deb Dietz, who speaks to millions of people on television. And along with her, there are radio personalities. So there's a variety of people here and consultants and coaches who are very used to presenting to people even in adversarial situations. So we have people that can drop in and help you operate as your consultants and put together the project and conduct the presentation. So we're here to serve everybody, from the people who need nothing all the way to the people who, hey, hold my hand and help me get done. So there's a little bit for everyone, really, Deb.
Absolutely. So, Ram, thank you so much for this. I love the fact, we are servant leaders here, so wherever you are on your entrepreneurial journey, We are here for you to provide access to education, access to resources, access to education. So there's support involved. So whatever you're comfortable doing on your own, wherever you feel you need help along the way, we are here to provide those services. So delighted to be able to do that. And of course, Ram and I are two people, but we certainly are not doing this alone, right, Ram?
No, we're not. We wish we had a bigger army, but we do have, the people that we needed to. And I think one really important aspect of the conference, and one aspect that I really love about SMB Digital Education, is the fact that you don't talk about things up in the air and throw just empty words, but actually you hold people's hands and help them accomplish what needs to get done. So Deb, I would like you to please explain a little bit about the training. And folks, from our webpage, again, www.VCLATINX.com, when you go to the drop-down menu, you'll find information about training. So Deb, why don't you, walk us through the training?
Absolutely. The training component, the presenters are developing online training courses, and we're offering each training course in a 4-hour block of training. So there are basically 4 modules to each course. Each module has 4 15-minute lessons. Many of the lessons are video lessons, but we also offer the instruction in different formats, in multiple formats, because what we find in adult learning or any kind of online learning is people have different learning styles. So people want to watch videos, and they want to consume the education and the instruction by watching videos. There are those that are auditory learners, and they want to listen to the lessons. So we take the video files, we convert them to audio files, so that becomes the MP3s. It's like listening to a podcast, as an example, or you can listen to the lesson. Our instructors also provide written transcripts, because there are those that want to read the lessons, read the written word, and we provide that as well. Many of our instructors will use slide presentations, so there could be slides in the lessons. And then many of our instructors are authors. And so they have, they may decide to include, an ebook as part of their lessons, or it could be any type of supporting information that supports that lesson. So it could be a spreadsheet, a template, a checklist. It could be any kind, a workbook, whatever supports that instruction for that lesson. So in many cases, because a lot of our instructors are authors, they have a lot of content, or they're coaches and consultants. So they have training materials that they work with their clients. So it's a way of harnessing all their intellectual property and gathering it together and putting into the instruction into these multiple formats. And then, and fundamentally, what's really critical here is that the instruction is step by step. So back to the point I made earlier about one of the critical success factors here in to be able to go through the process so that you ultimately do get that seat at the table when you're looking to pitch your idea or your innovation is, you have to put your best foot forward, and that the way that you put your plans and your pitch together requires step-by-step instruction. And so our instructors are going to be providing that step-by-step, that how-to, which is critically important. And of course, these are 4-hour blocks of training. So these are, not very long courses, but we're really tapping into we're helping our students, if you will, build fundamental skills on these business topics. And so there's, over time, we're going to be developing this library of instruction. The courses, once they're built, are on our library and accessible on demand. So that's another thing that really makes it easy. You can come to the conference and spend all your time watching the presentations, and then decide As an example, you may listen to Katarina Hansen's Carlson presentation on the entrepreneurial blueprint. And you may listen to her for 25 minutes during her talk. And then you may say, you know what, I want to take her online training course because I want to be able to create and build my own entrepreneurial blueprint. And in her instruction, she will teach you exactly how to do that. So that's just one of many, many, many courses. As far as the courses are concerned, we're really touching many different business management disciplines. So we've got courses on, as an example, the entrepreneurial blueprint, courses on performance management, strategic and scenario planning. We have a course on how to pitch to venture capitalists, reasons why startups fail and strategies to avoid them. Courses on social media marketing, leadership, conflict resolution, talent management, presentation and communication skills, due diligence, product development, and the list is very, very long. So whatever you have an interest in, wherever you believe you need to hone your skills, get some additional information, the program, the speakers, and the courses are very, very wide and very deep, and many topics to choose from.
And so one thing I really like about SMB Digital Education is this concept that you developed about the steps, right? So we're not just talking about in general terms or, throwing stuff at people, but rather this is those are the steps you need to take in order to create your entrepreneurial blueprint. You go step 1, step 2, step 3. So.
Absolutely. And then one of the things we're able to do kind of on the back end of the learning management system is that we see how people are progressing in the courses. And if folks are, not completing a course, or if there's a delay, or maybe, we have the ability to reach out to them, and see if they need some additional support. Also within the learning management system, the students have access to those instructors. So you may take someone's course and say, you know what, I really would like to have, a one-on-one session with Diana, as an example. Diana is one of our instructors, and she is a business coach. And you may be taking her course, which is Building a Winning Mentality as a CEO. That's Diana's course. And you may take her course and say, you know what, I would really like to talk with her one-on-one. You have the ability within your course to connect with her calendar. You can schedule some one-on-one time with her. And so that's another kind of value add to the process is you have access to the instruction, but you also have access to your instructor personally.
Wonderful. So, folks, the list is not short and it's growing. So please keep checking on our webpage. We'll have more of the course offerings. So usually they are divided into blocks, communication, strategy, finance, and then within each block, you're going to see the listing. So there's a title and there's like a 1-paragraph description. And then, very soon we're going to have the link to the exact page where you have like a longer description. So you can basically decide if this is what you're looking for, or what exactly are you looking for in terms of skills. But again, the goal is to help you build the skills. We found the best possible, people with expertise in the industry. They're the ones delivering the presentations. They're the ones delivering the courses. And if you have a question, you can interact with them. So there's a space for you to ask questions. If you need, more, you can interact with them one-on-one. So the list, is pretty long, but the whole point is we're gonna get you there. We're here to help you succeed.
Absolutely. And Ram, let's if we could just kind of switch a little bit and talk about the different languages. We have a lot of the courses certainly are available in English, but we also have programming and courses in Portuguese and Spanish. So can you take us to those pages?
Certainly. So folks, again, from the drop-down menu, what happens is you can switch to content in different languages. So I am on the Portuguese landing page. So you see again, the opening, you see the countdown. And please do take a moment to watch our intro videos. In the main page, you see the intro video in English. And this one, you see the intro video in Portuguese. And of course, in the Spanish landing page, you see the video in Spanish. But again, we welcome people. We give a little bit of introduction, explain what we're trying to accomplish, talk a little bit about the training, the opportunities to network, the exhibitors hall. But then there's something very special, is that the Portuguese-speaking countries, and in this case, I'm talking about Brazil and Portugal, they have their own chapters, and their chapters have special interests. So I mentioned to you that Deb is putting together a series of roundtables, and those roundtables could be about networking, or they could be about a specific topic. So the people in Brazil, for example, they selected three different ones. The first one is about Gen Z, so people who are younger entering the workforce, what kind of issues they face. The other one is people that are 45 or older, so the older workers getting into a startup and what issues they face. And the other one is people with special abilities. So people who have a special ability and they are trying to enter the workforce and in innovation. And again, so what issues they face and how can we go about that? The folks in Portugal have different interests, and they're very interested in veterans. So integrating veterans into the workplace, into the innovation space. So different countries and different cultures have different interests, but we try to accommodate everybody. We make spaces. Again, this is Latinx, so we're tending to women and double minorities and people who speak different languages coming from a variety of different cultures and different places. So we do have our Spanish section. So if you go to the drop-down menu and select Spanish or Espanol, you see our intro, our video intro, and then you go through the explanation of building the network, the training opportunities, the exhibitors hall, and then we have different chapters. In this case, we have Mexico, we have Argentina, we have Spain, and something very special that both Deb and I are very passionate about. We have chapters for displaced people. In this case, we have a chapter forming people from Venezuela who are in exile and people from Cuba who are in exile. They too want to get in their feet. They too have innovation projects, and they want to be successful. So we're creating communities or specific spaces where they can gather together, they can interact, they can find maybe I'm an accountant, but I'm not an attorney, and I need an attorney, or maybe I know about social media marketing, but I don't know anything about strategic planning. There is Deb Dietz here who can walk me through her course, so I can watch Deb's presentation on strategic planning. I can take her course. If I have further questions, I can interact with Deb one-on-one and ask, hey, Deb, here's my strategic planning project or my plan. Is this okay? Give me a feedback. So what we're trying to do here is build a situation where there's community. We tend to use in specific languages, and then we tend to use due to specific interests, and we try to understand what you're trying to achieve and help you become successful. So in a nutshell, that's what we're here for.
Exactly. And, and I appreciate you sharing that, Ram. Another thing that we find is when we started embarking on this effort, on this conference, is level of interest globally. And so one of the thoughts that we had was, because everything we're doing is digital, it's all online. So we had interest in other parts of the world about watching and attending the conference. The conference certainly is free to attend, but we thought of the idea of having watch parties in other parts of the world. And so that then opens it up. So for example, we could be working with a university in Buenos Aires as an example, and those people can gather. There may be folks that are in more rural areas than urban areas. And so this allows kind of a gathering place for people to come together. For those of you, and myself included, when I started my business 9 years ago, I had personally an incredible sense of isolation, because I came from the corporate world, and all of a sudden, people are everywhere. And then I became my own solopreneur, and found that very isolating. And so there's a lot of value in gathering with like-minded people who are coming together to learn together. And then these watch parties are starting to form in other parts of the world. And then after those watch parties are over, at the end of the day, people can network and gather and get to know each other. And then there are opportunities for innovation centers also, physical places where people can work together and work together on their innovations, having access to technology. Many folks that are in remote areas may not necessarily have access to technology. So it's a way of opening up access. And again, what Ram and I are doing here is we're providing access. We're putting them in touch with these experts, this arsenal of experts, but also providing them with, the abilities to gather and build a sense of community. So they're not feeling that sense of isolation, which is critically important for success.
Absolutely. And that mentions something which is technology. So our conference actually takes place in a very special place. And some of you may have seen this before, and others have not. But our provider, our conference provider, is called VFairs, and we found the Cadillac of the metaverse. So our conference actually takes place in the metaverse, and what you see here are the avatars. So this is not yet our personalized room, but VFairs is working very hard to personalize our space in the metaverse. So what you're going to see is a welcoming desk or an information desk when you walk in. And if you have any kinds of questions, then there's an auditorium where the actual presentations will take place. Deb mentioned the job fair. So yes, and so if you're hiring and you have a job posting, please get a hold of Deb or me or both of us, and so we will post your job opening. And of course, the people who are starting out, they too are going to post their job openings. Then we have the exhibitors hall, and that's a traditional exhibitors hall. So where you come in and you see a booth, and the booth staffed, 24 hours a day. So you have the opportunity to see the materials of the people presenting. You can, get some time on their agenda. You can talk to them. But the interesting fact is the metaverse. So why the metaverse? So this is not a toy. Okay, this is, those are avatars. Those are just a bunch of dollies, walking around. But when Deb and I sat down, we thought about the issues that people face. And when we interviewed women and minorities, part of the issue is that folks were focusing on, you're a woman and not a man. Oh, you are not white. Oh, you are too old, or you're too young, you're too fat, you're too thin. So we said, what can we do in order to level the playing field? So since we are all avatars, we're all dollies, what is left in the conversation is the innovation. So the angel investors can focus on what the innovation is and if it's worthwhile, what the product is, or the prototype, or the app, and if it's worthwhile, their investment. So what we're trying to do here again is to create this level playing field where we democratize the space. We're no longer focusing on the person's gender, the person's age, the person's sexual orientation, or physical appearance. Again, we are all avatars wandering around anyway, and we're focusing on that which matters, the innovation, and whether or not the angel investors would be interested in funding that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Ram. Can you walk people through how to register for the event?
Certainly. So again, folks, I took a walk away from our page. So the page is basically blinking in the cursor down here. I'm going to go back to basically www.vclatinx.com, and that you can access in any browser. I am back to our page, and I have the information. And then I can go through all the information. Then you get to this halfway through the page that says registration. By the way, the conference is free, and it's free with registration. So when you click on the register now, what happens is you're going to be taken to the VC Latinx page inside of VFairs. So let's go there right now. So let's go to VCLATINX.com. So when you click on the button, it will appear automatically. But because I am sharing my screen, I have to share multiple screens at the same time. But basically, you land on the VCLATINX inside of VFairs, again, our provider. And the provider, we can walk through the page again, but basically you have a preferred language. So you may want to access information in English, in Portuguese, or in Spanish. This has the homepage where we talk about what the conference is. This should look familiar to you. So that's our countdown, an explanation about the event, a few thoughts and ideas. Of course, Deb already mentioned some of the reasons why, but it's important that we highlight that again, why you should join us. Then you have the video. Of course, if you're choosing to watch it in Portuguese, you get the Portuguese video. If you select the language as Spanish, you watch the video in Spanish. So that the benefits of attending, and then we go through the agenda. All that you have to do is go to the top of the page and click the button register. I am in the English page, so when I click register, basically I will open the registration form in English. So again, the conference is free. All we need for you to do is to give your first name, your last name, your email, and the country. So why are we asking that? So that's because of privacy reasons. The European Union has privacy laws that we're complying with. The UK has different ones. The United States, we have our own. The state of California has different rules. So if you tell us where you're watching us from, we will make sure that your information is secured, it's private, and actually it's not being sold to anyone. But again, this is for compliance reasons. Once you complete the registration form and click save, you actually are enabled. VFairs knows what your IP address is, so it's a one-click button, and you will walk into that room. Again, that's not the room that I showed you because they're still designing our own proprietary room, but it's going to be a room that looks very similar to that. So you have the avatars going around. It's in the metaverse. You have the information desk. You have the exhibitors hall. We have the auditorium, and the place where we sit for round tables.
Wonderful. Ram, thank you so much for that. This amazing, and I'm so excited. I hope everybody will go and register. Registration is open, so please visit the site and register. We're already receiving registrations. We have folks from certainly Mexico and Argentina, Portugal, Spain. We have folks from Nigeria and Ghana and Africa, and it's really remarkable to see the level of interest, and people are interested in the content. They're interested in the speakers, the expertise that our speakers will be sharing, the access to the education. And the beautiful thing is this is a free conference. It's, you can join virtually from the comfort of your own home or your home office. It's a global event. You're going to meet and learn from experts from the US, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Spain, and more. Quite the diversity of speakers. We've got all the different service offerings of the exhibit hall, the job fair, the networking roundtables, which I think are going to be really, really interesting, Ram. The focus on the younger generation. Again, we're a show that focuses on emerging trends. Generation Z and young people entering the workforce presents its own challenges and opportunities to business owners. We have the aging, workforce population that presents also challenges and opportunities. Indigenous peoples, special needs. So we're hitting a lot of emerging trends, hot topics, and people want to have conversations about that, and they want to gather and have those conversations.
So that we have a lot of people making comments. Of course, this is a short show. I can't go all over all of them, but of course we'll be responding to them. But the conference organization, they really thank you. So Deb, again, thank you so much for your leadership and your passion. And when we started putting this thing together, you were the first person to say, oh, no, we need to get the continuing education credits for
Right.
people. And it was thanks to your work, your hard work. I said, well, actually, folks, your CEU credits, you can get them for free, right, Deb?
Yep, absolutely. So we're so happy about that. So whatever time you invest in the conference, we'll know, and you'll be receiving those CEU credits. So we're very excited about that.
So we have many more surprises, many wonderful speakers. We have one of them, so Kelly Keller. who actually is joining us. So how often can you get legal advice for free? So she's going to join the conference, and she has a presentation and an entire course walking us through the due diligence package, for example,
Yep.
what needs to be there. So, attorneys do not come cheap. So you can come in and watch someone's presentation. She's a fantastic person, very passionate about women, about minorities, about entrepreneurship. And so she joined us, and she's delivering advice for you guys for free. So you sit through her presentation,
Yes.
lots of pearls of wisdom in there. And then, of course, she has a course if you need more help, where she will walk you through the due diligence package, for example, what goes in there, and so how to make a good due diligence package. That and much, much more. I could now we have close to 60 speakers, so I can't cover all of them in the show. But folks, please keep checking back to our page, and you're going to learn more as we progress.
Absolutely. It's a moving target every minute. Things are changing and the agendas are being finalized. And so check back often and see as we finalize a lot of our agenda and our speakers and our courses. And then you can go through that and find those that are most meaningful to you.
Wonderful. So, folks, this was a very special show. So this is a special edition, Ask Deb About Business. So, Deb, thank you so much for
My pleasure.
using the show, using your space on the radio and television to talk about the conference. But again, as today we talk a little bit about VCLATINX, but more shows are coming up. We're going to be talking about Generation Z entering the workforce. We're going to touch on employee happiness, the importance of user and customer reviews, and we're going to touch on issues of mental health in the workplace. So, stay tuned. Ask Deb About Business returns to its, regular schedule. So 2 weeks from now. So, every other Thursday, 11 a.m. Central, you can join us live for yet another Ask Deb About Business with Deb Dietz. So, Deb, thank you so much. And would you share your final thoughts and again invite people to join us in the conference?
Absolutely. Delighted, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today to listen to our plans for VCLATINX. We're very excited to be working with the arsenal of experts that we are in bringing phenomenal education to the world, starting with Latin America, everywhere from Mexico to Patagonia and everywhere in between. And I think Ram and I we're just getting started doing this. So we're excited to be able to offer this kind of caliber of programming. Ram and I do a lot of research, so we know who else is doing conferences and the kinds of conferences that they're offering. And so we're very pleased with how our conference is coming together, the people that we're gathering and then their willingness to be part of it and their willingness to share their expertise and pay it forward. And fundamentally, that's what's happening here. All these people, they're busy people, they're experts in their field, and they're willing to share their wisdom and share knowledge. And, one other point I want to make is that often in some of our watch parties, we have young people that will be joining us. So the ability to bring in high school and college students to listen to these experts. Not every high schooler is thinking about going to college. They may be interested in hearing from these experts to help get some information. We talk a lot about knowledge provides options and options provides freedom. So the more that we can help educate and share knowledge with a younger generation and pay that forward, I think is time well spent. And Ram and I are delighted to be able to offer that and are eternally grateful to our contributors. So
Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you, Deb. And folks, we're not just looking south or to the neighbors of the south, we're actually looking to the neighbors at north. So we're bringing a larger Canadian contingency. We'll be putting that together into the program as we speak. So neighbors to the north, neighbors to the south, we're all one big family, and we look forward to seeing you at the conference. And so, folks, time for us to say our thank you and our goodbyes. Again, thank you for joining. Thank you again, Deb Dietz, for using this time and this program as a special to promote the VCLATINX conference. We hope to see you there. And again, every other Thursday, 11 a.m. Central, join Deb Dietz for yet another Ask Deb About Business. See you then.